This is my first article just about me, you know, like no one else.
This is the big one.
Yeah, you know, hopefully.
It's all about you.
Yeah, the next one I need to be on the cover.
King of the castle, let's go.
Yeah,
I mean, let's manifest that now.
Hell yeah, I'm
Cover. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Immerzion, where we chat everything fashion, arts and culture.
First off, we just want to say a massive thank you to all the support that we got with the launch of our first episode. And yeah, we love you so much and we just hope to go onwards and upwards from here with you guys. This week, we have a really exciting two-part series coming up where we're going to be chatting with artists and their influence on the fashion industry.
So, exciting prospect coming up. Samurai Farai, local artist who's not just an artist. Multidisciplinary, he's a designer, got his own label coming out, released some music as well. I mean, he's appeared in GQ magazine. He's a big deal. So super excited to have a look at his gallery, which turns out is not actually just a gallery. So should we hop straight into Not a Gallery?
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, draw. Yeah, she give me that claim as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, still on Bob, baby.
So we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Samurai Farai. What do you have to say for us?
Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. So we're going to go straight into a whole bunch of rapid fire questions. So hope you're ready to rumble.
Let's go.
First off, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Drake or Kanye?
Kanye.
Graffiti or Canvas?
Graffiti.
Kim or Kylie?
Kylie.
Louis Vuitton or Gucci?
Louis Vuitton.
Boys or girls?
Girls.
GQ or Vogue?
GQ.
Off-White or Supreme?
Off-White.
Vodka or tequila?
Vodka.
Go out or stay in?
Stay in.
Picasso or Da Vinci?
Picasso.
Gandhi or Mother Teresa?
Gandhi.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Oh, big one. Big one. J-Lo or Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Vegan or carnivore?
Carnival.
Summer fits or winter fits?
Winter fit. Hell yeah.
That was slick.
Yeah.
That was very smooth.
Thank you.
Cool. And then, yeah, we're going to jump into the other questions. We're going to start off by, where did the Samurai Farai come about?
Well, it's always an interesting story whenever people ask me. It's a long one, but I'll just give you the short end.
We got time. It's all good. Bless us.
Alright. Well, Samurai Farai was basically something that like an artist pseudonym that I conceived whilst in art school here in Cape Town at UCT. So what I used to do was like write these really controversial like quotes and things on like the bathrooms and just kind of like, you know, how high school used to be. But I kind of saw that there was a need for it in like such an institution that was like all about creativity. And I got caught. And when I got caught, they were basically like, you know, you're vandalizing and defacing the space. And I was like, no, actually, this is like my third year concept to create this artist pseudonym, which is Samurai Farai, who exists, you know, outside of like our social definitions of like class, gender, and race. It was just kind of a way for me to like take back my power in terms of identity and then like use that to like fuel the identity that I wanted to embody as an artist.
Unreal.
So it's got quite a whole thing. And I got saved by like giving them that spiel and then didn't get suspended from uni.
So what's an example of the type of quotes you would put?
One of them would be like, your white walls look ugly without my art. And then I'd like tag like Samo, or like, what are the things that they teach you in art school? A, Christianity. B, free thinking. Or like C, to be a sheep. So it was just like some thought-provoking stuff.
Did you have a signature that you would do after everything?
Yeah, I
What
did.
is your signature?
It was always like the crown, which I was very much inspired by like Jean-Michel Basquiat for.
Okay.
So I always used to tag the crown, and then the crown would always be in my art, so they always knew. But like now my tag is basically like F and an E, but it basically makes a crown because I'll draw it for you and you'll see it later.
Okay, cool. Bless us.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's an incredible concept already to have. So that was in your third year, right?
That was in my third
So-
year, yes.
So my question here is, did you know that you were always going to be an artist, or was there a tipping point when you're like, this is my calling, like this is what I need to do, or was it more of an escape that turned into a career?
I think I never really had an option other than to be a creative person. Like every aspect of my life, like my personality, my emotions, just the way I went about my life was very, like I was never normal. Like doctors wanted to put me on Ritalin when I was 7.
Wow.
But I think the turning point, or maybe when I realized that I was capable of doing this, was like through high school, when I just kept like getting 100% for like my art history exams. And it like the art history did become an escape for me, because I just was like so obsessed with it, and like learning about human history through like the cultures and how different cultures lived and expressed themselves. Just really helped me to understand like human history. And I was like, well, if I'm good at this, then let me just do this. And I was fortunate enough to get a full bursary to come study at UCT, study fine art, and I double majored. And through that process, I guess I realized that I wanted to be an artist, or I was an artist my whole life, you know. And now I guess the past 2 years has been a real like actualization of my independent practice. I mean, the opening of my gallery and you know, these magazines, and even this conversation itself, there's been such an amazing momentum. So I think I always kind of knew or felt that I had to be in the creative industry. There was no way I was going to sit behind a desk.
And it helps when you love what you're good at as well.
Exactly.
Like,
It really does. It's an immense change. Like,
and then next question, do you have like a signature style or way of doing your art?
I would say yes. It's very expressive. It's very distinctive. I would say it's very like, in like modern art history terms, you'd call it like like a combination of cubism and neo-expressionism. So cubism is kind of the art movement that attempted on showing like multi-perspectives of an object or a person or a scene at one time. And then like the neo-expressionists just really like made art that was just about them expressing their emotions, you know. So like no like form or shape, but just like like mark making, abrasiveness, almost like abstraction, but not abstraction. So I think that I use those kind of two techniques for myself, but I also have a completely other technique, which is like my calligraphy writing. Which is like an alphabet system I made in like my last year of uni.
You made an alphabet system?
Yeah, like
what?
a unique writing.
Can we have a look
system.
at that?
Yeah, I've got the artworks are downstairs, and
crazy.
I'll send you guys the stuff. So that was for me, like when I was also like on this conceptual thing, I was like, how do I create a new system of like archiving or like storing information or expressing information that's like distinctive to me. So I like made a whole like 29 character alphabet system.
Unreal.
And
That's
then,
so
like,
sick.
Yeah, and like I just paint them and like make sentences that like I only know. Yeah.
Jeez, man's been speaking Morse code out here.
Speaking codes on the walls.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So those, I guess, are like my 3 techniques that I really enjoy at the moment.
And you mentioned that art's such a form of expression. You can express yourself in so many ways that people don't generally understand. I mean, you basically wrote your own alphabet, and you only understand that, but you're putting it out there and people can resonate with that.
Definitely.
Do you see that fashion is also a way to express yourself? And do you think there's a synergy between art and fashion?
I completely believe that there's a synergy between art and fashion. I believe that, you know, getting dressed or the clothes that you adorn your body with before you go out into the world is like the first point of expression. It's almost like body language, you know. It's like you saying, it's like a statement to the world and a statement to yourself. And I think that art has a very similar narrative in the way where it's part of people's identity, or it at least helps inform people's identities, whether it's like national or international or local. It's they're two like, it's like one edge of the same sword, in my opinion. And it's super beautiful when like art and fashion like merge and like breed and overlap together, you know, when you see artists like George Condo collaborating with Christian Dior, like literally just drawing on garments in the back of the runway and then like sending out models wearing these garments. Kid Super, you know, collaborating with Puma and putting like these amazing visually evocative images on like jackets and pants, and just showing that like fashion doesn't just have to be like a plain blue like Levi jean, like
100%.
it can be like Levi collabing with Pokemon and like putting on these Pokemon balls and you know,
people never even thought of
100%.
in different ways.
Have you collabed with anyone in the fashion world?
Not.
Or any plans?
I have a few very interesting collabs coming up. One that's in the waters right now is something with Leaf Apparel, which is Cape Town's like local amazing streetwear brand. We're gonna be doing something like an exclusive edition of hoodies that we're trying to raise funds for towards like mental health and like contributing to like an NGO here in Cape Town. And I've been kind of entertaining the idea to do something with G-Star Raw.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
That'll
might
be huge, eh?
might do like a denim collab, hopefully. But nothing as of
Can you
late.
give us a sneak peek?
I was gonna
with that?
say, are we allowed to
Any-
talk about it?
Would you be painting on the jackets?
I mean,
jeans, whatever.
it would be the
denim may be?
jeans. It would be the jeans. It would be the jackets and the jeans. But I'm working on my own like label at the moment, which is called Ferrari.
Okay.
And it's basically gonna be like a collection of like 15 collectible, unique jackets.
So limited edition.
Yeah.
Once it's sold, it can never be bought again.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that.
basically one of one. And this is one of them as well.
One of one.
Yeah, one of one.
What do you think that would go for?
I would like to, like, if anyone wanted to purchase something like this, I won't lie, like, it's not gonna be like a Zara or Topman kind of price, but for me, like, something around like 5 or 6 grand.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's handcrafted. It's
Exactly.
effectively luxury. I'd pay
Exactly.
5 grand for that.
Yeah,
You
it's an
know.
investment.
Yeah,
investment.
it's a unique work of art, and it's like something that only you own in the whole world. For me, that exclusivity and that authenticity is like priceless, you know. Being able to buy something that's like maybe like 300 or 400 bucks, but like 5,000 people have it.
Exactly.
It's very different, you know.
Think about those Cotton On Festival shirts. You go out to a festival, wear a Cotton On shirt, and that's 500 other people wearing the exact same
Exactly.
thing. How are you
So-
going to have any form of individualism at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Like you spoke about wanting to portray an image to society, but I mean, if you're portraying the same image that everyone else is portraying, are you actually an individual?
Exactly, which then becomes like this weirder conversation of fashion with like the like monotonous and like homogeneousness of it, and like how it actually just paints everyone with the same picture, so that there isn't actually any like authentic self-expression, because like mainstream fashion is so like diluted and people just accept it, you know. Like someone would rather wear something that 500 people have than have something that they own for themselves only. You know, they don't, like, it's like our priorities are very different, you know, I guess, as fashion consumers, which is very interesting.
I think that's something as well with being interested in the fashion industry. You realize the difference between trends and style. Like anybody can follow the trends, it's very easy to see, but like style is a very different thing, and having that authentic style is different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then can you just tell us a bit about Not a Gallery? What was the inspiration
I'm
for
super
it? And
excited
just
to hear
congrats.
that.
Like it's such a
Okay.
cool
Massive
concept.
congrats.
Thank you so much, guys. So Not a Gallery basically was something, it was born like in my mind even whilst I was at university. I had to like frequent a lot of gallery spaces and write like numerous reviews of them, and I just realized the same patterns and the same kind of vibrations and the same concepts being like expressed in all of these spaces. So when I left uni, I was like, well, when I open up my own gallery, I want it to literally be something that redefines the concept of a gallery, you know. I don't want the walls to be perfect. I don't want all the artists to be well known. I don't want the function of the space just to be about looking at art. I want it to be like this melting pot of like creative expressionism, and also like information and knowledge exchanging, like people sharing knowledge and sharing resources, whether it's like, yo, I've got a camera, and like, oh, well, I'm a rapper, or I'm an artist, I do this, I need a cameraman, you know. So when I was working with Black Brick and they basically said, yo, we have this empty space, we're trying to turn into a food and beverage establishment. Me and Kimmy, my partner in crime, were like, well, she's had this amazing idea for years to open up her own, like, how do I say it, like streetwear kind of culturally promoting hotel, and I always wanted to have like a gallery space that had like multiple functions. So we put our brains together, and I mean that's the result.
So you guys co-founders?
Yes.
Unreal.
Yeah, so we co-founded this
Super
together.
exciting.
And now it's just really amazing to have a gallery space that is also a restaurant, that is also a space for live musicians, that is also a cocktail bar, that is also just a safe space for people to come and like draw and create art and meet other artists.
I love that element of it, that it's like a space for creativity to like make more creativity and for creatives to come together and expand on that.
Definitely.
That is very cool.
Let's chat about your GQ magazine feature. That was huge. Like, how did that come about? How did you feel? That must have been a wave of emotions.
It was.
Tell us about it.
So not a lot of people know, but that was actually my third GQ editorial.
What?
Yeah. So
And the other ones?
The
What are
first
those?
two were basically in my earlier years here in Cape Town. I was part of like kind of like a fashion collective. We're called Tone Society. We did some work that ended up in GQ on like 2 separate occasions.
What type of work was that?
Basically like trying to tell the story of like being young, being creative, and being South African through fashion. So we had a collective of us, about like 14 people, and it was like interdisciplinary. So from jazz musicians to cinematographers, videographers, photographers, visual artists, other professional models, stylists, female singers and female artists. So we just kind of gravitated towards each other and like made something beautiful. Also it was during like the Fees Must Fall campaign and stuff like that. So it was really important for us as young people to like band together.
Yeah.
But no, this GQ, this was the like this is my first article just about me, you know, like no one else.
This was the big one.
You know, hopefully
all about you.
Yeah, the next one I need to be on the cover.
King of the castle, let's go.
Yeah,
I mean, let's manifest that now.
Hell yeah, I'm going to be on the cover in
Next
6
year.
months.
6 months.
Yes,
There we go.
Give myself
2022. There, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. Immerzion podcast.
There
done.
we go.
GQ
There we
magazine
go.
cover.
There we
Wait and
go.
see.
Samurai Farai. Let's
There we
go.
go. Yeah, man. I'm so proud and like grateful that they kind of allowed me, or just allowed the world to kind of have access to me. I think it's important for just the creatives in this country at the moment to see someone that looks like myself doing the things that I'm doing. And also getting recognition as an artist is something that's not easy. For like a mainstream like magazine to like give me that opportunity was really big. And they pretty much just approached me and said, hey, we really are enjoying the things that you're producing, and we'd love to just give you like a little spread and tell the world what you're about.
But yeah, that leads really nicely on to the next question, which is just what's your experience of being a Black artist in South Africa, and like have there been challenges?
Definitely. I think one of them is just like the social nature of Cape Town is very cliquey, and it's something that you really...
Sorry, just quickly.
Don't
Can
have
you
to
say that
tell-
louder for the people in the back?
The social climate in Cape Town is a very, very
If you're new to
cliquey.
Cape Town, it's tough.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Immerzion podcast, Samurai Farai.
You know, so that challenge, that was a real obstacle, because there's a lot of gatekeeping that takes place, and a lot of people that kind of sit at the helm, I guess, of opportunities that you may feel that you deserve, but you maybe don't meet the quota because you're not in like that circle or team of people. So you get overlooked very easily. So that was one of them, and also just visibility. And I mean, it took me like applying to like 5 or 6 different galleries after I'd graduated to get like my first to get my first group show. It was almost impossible, and I don't think that I would have even been looked at if I didn't go to Michaela's. And also just, I guess, the South African public not really being fully aware of like the immense cultural talent that, you know, we have as creatives and artists. South Africans are always looking outwards for that inspiration and looking either to Europe or the States, never like looking internally or locally.
I think that's a big thing that we also want to really address in like the series and just our podcast in general. It's like there's so much talent in South Africa and in Africa, and we want to look within.
Definitely.
Like it's so important.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the challenges I myself have faced and a lot of like my peers, which is also one of the things that like motivates us to like move out of the country. But then that's also one of the things that doesn't bring it back into the country. So there's no really like insurgence of like that cultural wealth, because like artists and black artists alike have to travel elsewhere to get recognition, to finally get like, you know, the affirmation or the thumbs up of like the people here. It's really weird.
Yeah. And then with regards to talking about just locations in general, if you could showcase your artwork anywhere in the world to anyone, where would it be and to whom would it be to?
It's a great question.
We got time. Take your time. It can be people that aren't alive still. You can showcase it to Gandhi if you wanted to. Anyone.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember seeing that question and I was like,
I think so.
I had an idea in my mind, because if I were to have to showcase, I think it would probably be like in the Louvre, but during like the late 17th, early 18th century, during like the Renaissance, when like
It's pretty classical of you to say.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
No, I think it would be something that I'd love to be in a space like that, in terms of like the philosophical thought and even like the cultural thought, and to show them work that was like so different, or like that also like is a testament of like what they did in the classical era. Like I'm an art historian, I'm so like aware of it, but to show them kind of like where art has led to, I think would be for me like the biggest like accolade, to show like Rembrandt or Michelangelo or Da Vinci or Raphael like something made in South Africa like in 2020 or 2021. I think it would be like, it would just boggle. Yeah, definitely. I would love to do that. If it wasn't then it would probably be like in New York during like the times of Andy Warhol and Keith Haring and Fab Five Freddy, and just to be in that kind of like excitement or that energy of like the 80s.
And like it was iconic.
Yeah, like everyone that was somebody in that time like is still remembered and was a huge influence, not just in their like industry, but like in the whole like pop culture thing that's going on.
And I mean, you've touched on this a lot today, just about how multidisciplinary everything is becoming in terms of the space of fashion and art, and that's something that comes up a lot in the 80s with just the synergy between fashion and art, and like pop art especially.
Definitely.
So I love that that's what you're doing now as well, the multidisciplinariness of everything. Very cool.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, then what message would you want your art to communicate to people who see it?
The message, I guess, I'm always trying to maybe preach or communicate through anything that I make is always one of just like encouraging new perspectives, new attitudes, new ways of looking at life, new ways of looking at yourself, new ways of looking at the things around you. I don't think I always like have like the standard message where I'm like, you know, this is about anger, or this is about grief, or this is about love, or I think there's always just like, I always felt like my work is always like this combination of like chaos and symmetry, but only to like show that like each one is needed in order for the other one to like exist, so they like coexist with each other. So I think I just want people to maybe just be like less harsh on themselves sometimes, and realize that like, you know, it's sometimes okay to be different. It's okay to not fit the mold. It's okay to be authentic. It's okay to be yourself. If anything, it's like really beautiful to do that. So I think like the message of my art is always like self-love, self-empowerment, but also like just trying to look at the world differently.
And at the end of the day, you are your best investment. So
exactly.
Why not? Why not show yourself a little bit of love?
Exactly, dude. Why not?
And then in terms of future plans, do you have any future plans, and what would they be? Can you give us a little sneak peek?
So I guess Samurai Farai 6-month plan.
GQ magazine cover, let's
One-
go.
one
You
the
heard it.
6-month plan, the 5-year plan, and the 10-year
Yeah,
plan.
Let's call it 25 as well.
I can't give you all of them. So the 6-month plan is, and I'll say it here, get my vaccine.
There we go.
And travel Europe, hopefully start in Tel Aviv, approach a few galleries there, go to Amsterdam, go through Venice, finally like see all of these amazing creative expressions all through the world that like I've only read about.
Yeah.
Hopefully find myself in Dubai for Sol DXB, which is this amazing sneaker festival. Hopefully be doing some live painting there.
Oh,
and
That is
hopefully
cool.
in the design conference that they're having there in December.
When is that?
In December.
In December, okay.
So lots of traveling for me, hopefully, and also needing to find someone to run my gallery whilst I'm gallivanting. But yeah, then GQ hopefully in the beginning of 2022. And then I guess the world's my oyster from there.
Done and done. I mean,
Exciting things to come.
at the end of the day, life's a movie and you're the main character. So once again, you heard it here first.
Yes,
Immerzion
sir.
Podcast,
Yes,
let's
you
go.
did. Shout out to Immerzion Podcast. It's been an awesome time.
Alrighty. Well,
Cool.
from us, thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. It's honestly, this is the best interview I've ever had. This
Guys,
is
thank you for having me.
super
You guys are
interesting.
wonderful interviewees. So keep it up for real.
alrighty.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
And yeah, hopefully we'll have you on next year
Hell yeah.
for an update.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Always. Round 2.
But thanks so much.
Of course, guys. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Some super interesting insight from an absolute legend. Once again, Farai, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us. I know I learned a lot. I'm sure you did as well, and hopefully you guys did back home. But make sure to have a look at Not a Gallery. We'll put their links in our bio. And yeah, an absolute king. So shout so much, Farai, you legend.
Cool. Join us next time when we chat more about artists and their influence in the fashion industry. And yeah, we'll chat to you then.
Peace.